Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Wednesday, and all of our guests today, including Craig Button, TSN Scouting Director, standing by. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. As we go to Craig Button. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am great. I am really great. How are you guys today?
Well, I'll tell you what. The Canucks have made things very interesting on the show. So they lose to the Jets 5-3. That has become the sidebar story. Thatcher Demko is front and center. Quinn Hughes being the second story that's front and center. But focusing on Thatcher Demko, through your experiences in NHL front offices, can you relate at all to what the Canucks are going through with Thatcher Demko and his inability, a star player, his inability to stay healthy?
Yeah, and I think that's what's clearly shown with Thatcher. We know that when he is in the net and playing, and when he's healthy, that he's a top-notch goaltender. There can be no debate about that. But part of the requirements to be a goaltender and a goaltender for an NHL team as number one is reliability and dependability. And no, for that, I think Thatcher prepares. I don't think this is a case of anybody of him not preparing himself as best as he can. But right now he's got a pattern of running into injuries that prevent him from playing, and that reliability, dependability factor now becomes a factor. And he hasn't been reliable and dependable as the number one goaltender. I'm not talking about when he's playing, but to be able to turn to him. And it's a big issue. You've seen it in Vancouver. The Canucks fans have seen it. Patrick Alvin, signed Thatcher in the offseason to a contract that I think reflects how good Thatcher can be. But it doesn't reflect the fact that Thatcher has not been available enough of the time as a number one goaltender. And again, I'm not blaming Thatcher for running into injury issues or having things that he works hard at to try to correct. It may be something that may never be correctable. And he's not the first goaltender that's had something like that. He won't be the last.
The second big issue from yesterday, Craig, and it goes back a bit, but Quinn Hughes on the ice, just absolutely fabulous. 3 assists. But a lot of people read into his response to questions from the media and his body language that he doesn't want to be here. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so full disclosure, I've known Quinn since he was a young kid. The Hughes family, Jimmy, I worked with Jimmy for a little while, Jim and Ellen and the boys. I've watched them literally grow up. Yep. And, I think that you have to look at what the personality of Quinn is. Quinn lets his actions speak loudly. And, he's the captain. I think the way he plays the game is incredible. You saw it in that game versus the Jets. He's a difference maker. And I'm not so sure that we can look into Quinn's responses to questions. You're trying to find a way to make sure your team is at a level that can win games. And I know that Quinn cares. He cares about the team. He cares about trying to do everything he can to help the team win. So my own view on it is, and knowing Quinn is that I think there's too much being read into his responses. I think after a game, you're disappointed. There's emotions that go with it. But until Quinn Hughes comes out and there's a statement that says, listen, I think I might be better off somewhere else, much like Matthew Tkachuk did, then I think that Quinn Hughes is a player that the Vancouver Canucks are counting on. They'd love to have him long-term. There's no question about it. But that's not even something that can be addressed until next July 1st. So I think that, looking at it and trying to factor in what body language says, again, Quinn is his own person with respect to how he carries things. He's not the fiery, I'm going to make these big speeches and wear it on my sleeve. That's not the way he is as a person. So I wouldn't expect that to carry forth in his off-ice interviews either.
Craig, what the heck is going on in Edmonton? 9-1 loss at home. They're in 6th place in the Pacific Division. What's your read on the Oilers these days?
I think they're a mediocre team, Rick. And,
Wow.
the goaltending, I mean, last week they were celebrating league average goaltending. Tell me when league average goaltending wins you anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Their goaltending is an issue. There's no bottom of, there's no way about it. It's not good enough. Then you have a defense group that is not playing anywhere near what I think is their level of capability. And then let's go up front. Let's go up front and let's look at where they have Connor McDavid, check.
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl, check. Jack Roslovic has been a really nice addition. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, check. Okay, tell me who else you can put check marks beside. Zach Hyman's out.
Yeah.
Hyman.
Zach Hyman's out. Okay, so who else can? I mean, Vasily Podkolzin plays hard, and he plays hard. So half their forward group doesn't give you very much, if anything at all. So how are you going to have success when you don't have enough skill up front after McDavid and Draisaitl? You don't have enough speed. You don't have enough heavy and weight. They lost Kane. They lost Perry. They lost Holloway. They lost Ryan McLeod. They lost Warren Fogle. I mean, how, like players that could be difference makers in your lineup, they lost them all.
Yep.
Of their choosing. Of their choosing. They're a mediocre team. They're playing terrible defense, and unless some reinforcements come in to take some of the pressure off of McDavid and Draisaitl, they're going to be wallowing right around, and the goaltend, and when you look at it all, Rick, when I look at it in a scenario, like they'd have at least, in my view, 2 for sure, 3 less wins perhaps, without McDavid and Draisaitl just being superheroes on the ice and finding a way to help them win.
A more positive story in the Canucks division is the Anaheim Ducks. Don't tell me in the summer you would have predicted today that the Ducks would be first in the division. Boy, they're fun to watch. They're young. They're skilled. They're fast. What about the Ducks?
I had them in the playoffs, but I had the Canucks in the playoffs too. So no, hey, full disclosure, I had the Ducks. The Ducks made massive improvements last year, Rick, and took real strides forward. Pat Verbeek felt that it was time to bring in a different level of coach, and Joel Quenneville is that different level of coach. Yeah. And Joel has come in, and I think the team, the younger players, are more ready. They're more mature in their play. Ready to handle things in different ways, and I think Joel has helped them, really take that next step. And I'll say this too, and that's without Lukas Dostal playing at the level he did last year. I think lots of positive things for this team. I mean, Leo Carlson is fantastic. You look at what Cutter Gauthier is doing, and not only are they a good team, they got skill and they got size and they got weight. And Joel emphasizes playing quick and hard and fast, and they do that.
Mm-hmm. And losing to Colorado, no shame in that, 4-1 yesterday. Hey, you and your TSN co-worker Mike Johnson have made your early projections for Canada's 2026 Olympic roster. You have Macklin Celebrini going, but not Connor Bedard. How come?
Okay, so let me ask you the question. We have Reinhart and Point already named to the team. Mm-hmm. Mitch Marner in that spot, right? Who does Connor Bedard unseat?
Well, some people might say Bo Horvat.
Well, he's not going to do what Bo Horvat does as a fourth line center. Full stop.
Listen, I'm supposed to put you on the spot, Craig, not the other way around.
What's going on here?
No, I'm not trying to put it, but everybody asked me, you asked me the question, okay, and I answered the question. Who are you taking off? Yeah. Listen, Connor Bedard has had a fantastic year. Connor Bedard, as you know, I have said for 2 years now, there's nothing wrong with Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is a terrific player. What he did in his first 2 seasons as a full-on teenager has been fantastic on a team that wasn't very good. Now he's really taken that major step forward, and good on him. He has served notice that he should be under consideration for Team Canada. We're not taking him out of consideration. We are saying we're not going to take a small sample size early in the year and just automatically put him on the team, especially ahead of players that have been tested significantly at the highest levels of play. And so Can Connor show that? Mike Johnson and I are going to do this again in early December, and then Hockey Canada will have to make their thing. And it's not about we're trying to build a team. Tommy Wilson brings something that Connor Bedard doesn't bring, and Tommy Wilson is tested. But Connor Bedard has taken significant steps forward in his game, and perhaps as he continues on and continues to show that he can hold that level of play, he can find his way. I would never say that Connor Bedard can't be on this team. I would have said that at the beginning of the year, but based on his play, I think that Connor has shown, much like Macklin Celebrini, that they can be on this team. But again, Macklin playing left wing, maybe not as much strength on the left wing, but certainly Connor he's in the mix, he's in the conversation, and when we do our roster in December, very well could find his way on it.
Is Macklin's all-around game better than Connor's right now?
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's totally fair, Donnie, and I give Mike Johnson total credit here. You know, having watched Macklin last year at the World Championships, Mike was covering it, and he said he really fit in nicely, playing on the wing and doing different things, and certainly that showed Hockey Canada some different elements. He's a center, but I think he can play on the wing. And when you ask me about Bo, I just don't think that in that spot as a center iceman that Connor can fit that spot. But certainly Macklin's been fantastic this year for the San Jose Sharks. Fantastic again with 2 assists and a 2-1 victory for San Jose on Tuesday night.
Put me on the spot next week. I'll be better. Okay? I promise.
You're always good, Donnie. You're always good. I like Mike and I all we kid around, right? We say okay, we got to turn it around a little bit. Who are you taking off, right? Like everybody wants us to put somebody on. Just tell us who we take off, right? Just so you know, Bo Horvat and Connor Bedard share the same agent. So I also know there's a little bit of safety knowing that how can you not? Well, we'll take Bo off.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Craig, next week.
Thanks, guys.
All the best.